Part 26. The Black Technology Chat Group of the 10,000 Realms. Author, Huo Dong. Chapter 251. 251 Chapter 251 Is this a model toy? Chapter 251 Is this a model toy? The researchers of the Yinjiang R&D team are not very good looking, and their most worried situation still appears. When the other team came over and did not figure out the situation, they began to randomly specify the target, which would disrupt their research progress. Upon seeing this, Luzixin said, "Several people, don't worry, we don't want to deny your results, but we have different understandings and implementation plans for this project." "Octopus, this is not a different understanding, this is totally unreasonable," Ho Xinghua argued and said, "as long as the performance of our logistics drones, plus intelligent flight management system, can be used successfully. But you said that you want to abandon the current rotor-type drone, then I want to know, what drone we can use." Luzixin smiled and said, "The rotor is bulky, the noise is very polluted, and it is not convenient for flying in bad weather, so we have to be a jet drone." "What, jet drone?" Luzixin said. Ho Xinghua and others first glimpse, and randomly revealed a contradictory emoticon. It was an emoticon that wanted to laugh but was embarrassed to laugh. Ho Xinghua originally thought that the team of Red Letter would have any insights. Who knows that they actually want to be a jet logistics drone? This idea is totally unrealistic. Too much to take. If the jet logistics drone is so good, they don't know what to do. The Yinjiang team was speechless. Ho Xinghua coughed twice and said, "Octopus, let's talk about things, I have to say something." "You said." Luzixin nodded. He looked at the R&D team of Red Letter and increased the decibel and said, "If it is just a jet, there is nothing wrong with it. But what we have to do is a small-scale logistics drone, not a large transport aircraft, which has limitations in terms of volume the size of the logistics drone. If you want to install jet equipment, also design fuel tanks, carry fossil fuels, these together, the volume has exceeded the limit. Followed by the cost of the jet is too high for us, we want to find a more convenient way to logistics, rather than increase our own transportation costs." Luzixin said, "You can do it smaller, and the cost can be reduced." Ho Xinghua's helpless smile said, "If you are small, the power of the jet will definitely be insufficient and the load capacity will be reduced. Small drones will take a lot of weight when carrying fossil fuels, not to mention transporting goods, so, Octopus, I think your idea is really, not very suitable. Without carrying fossil dyes, you can use electric jets directly." The person from the R&D team said, "Small electric jets, only with lithium-air batteries with high energy density, power, and load capacity are not a problem." "What, electric jets?" Ho Xinghua said, like a joke. "It's impossible. I haven't heard of anyone who can make a small electric jet device that can carry heavy loads. It's not as good as our electromechanical rotary type drone." The members of other Yinjiang teams also showed their smiles, and the views expressed by the Red Letter team were too naive. If there is such a simple thing as they say, why do other logistics companies only study rotary wing drones? Amazon, Google, Deutsche Post, Israel U of Technology, Shunfeng, Dobeo, these companies are all doing rotary wing logistics drones because they are the most technically compliant technology. "The purpose of our Red Letter is to make the impossible possible," Luzixin said with a smile. "In fact, I don't want you, the preliminary electric jet logistics drone we have already made, the specific performance is still improving in. This time, here is to let the R&D team on both sides improve it together, and strive to complete the complete logistics drone supply chain as soon as possible, and get the approval of relevant departments and promote it to the whole country." "You have already made it," Ho Xinghua opened his eyes and asked in an incredible tone. Others have also revealed the amazing emoticon. The team of Red Letter has not started to join the project yet, but it is already done? And it's still unrealistic, it sounds like a fool's day joke. This, how is it done? The researcher who just questioned stood up and said, "Can I see it?" Of course Lu Zixin brought the samples he carried and placed them on the table. Seeing a circular small flying saucer in the box, everyone was shocked. "Is this your jet drone?" Their tone is full of suspicion. The size of this drone is too small. Even if there is an electric jet, they are more willing to believe that this is a model toy, not a logistics capable of carrying heavy transport machine. Ho Xinghua didn't know what to say. How to look at this thing is like the thing that is sold to children in the supermarket. It is good to fly on its own, but also logistics and transportation. Isn't that nonsense? Without a rotor, can it really fly? Someone questioned. I can fly, can't this drone have a heavy load? We can try it. Its load capacity, around 20 kilograms, can meet the general package delivery of 95% or more, Lu Zixin said. 20 kilograms, the Yinjiang team felt that Lu Zixin was talking loudly. Can this small thing carry 20 kilograms? How can its power be so powerful? They are doing 4-rotor medium-sized logistics drones, and now they are very hard to load 10 kilograms. The size of this small flying saucer is so small that the jets inside are also miniature, and the energy supply is difficult to meet. Really 20 kilograms, not 2 kilograms, Ho Xinghua confirmed again. 20 kilograms, said the R&D team of the Red Letter team. Now we can go outside and show it. Go, look, I still don't believe it, such a gadget can carry 20 kilograms, Ho Xinghua is not convinced in his heart. He does not believe that his team's research can be so far from the Red Letter. They came to the yard to debug the electric jet drone. Seeing that it really can fly, Ho Xinghua and others are indeed some accidents. The power of this thing seems to be really the same. It is only a load of 20 kilograms, which is too exaggerated. Just as they prepared a 20-kilogram sample parcel for test flight, they suddenly visited, and they were the staff of the Shunfeng Logistics UOF research base. "Do you have anything?" someone asked. The staff at the window explained, "This is the case, we have some trouble, I want to ask you for help." End of this chapter. The Black Technology Chat Group of the 10,000 Realms. Author, Huo Dong. Chapter 252. 252 Chapter 252 First Mission. Chapter 252, The First Mission. They simply said that a new type of medium-sized logistics drone developed by Shunfeng Logistics had a fault during the flight test and fell into a mountain. There is no road there, and if people are groping for the past, they don't know how much trouble. So they came up with a way to pull the drone back directly with other drones. However, due to the complicated terrain there, their large drones could not land, and the small UAVs had insufficient load capacity. I thought that the size and load of the drones that were flying before the Yinjiang Logistics seemed to be helpful, so I came over and asked. Ho Xinghua asked, "Which model of your drone is there? How is the terrain? Can I see it?" "This is the V-333 vertical takeoff and landing fixed-wing drone." The staff of the Downwind took out pictures to show them. It is an 8-rotor drone, which is a little more than 5 times larger than the current 4-rotor of Yinjiang. According to the image information sent back by the drone, it is now on a low slope, full of weeds, and is not suitable for large drones. "Does it have multiple?" Ho Xinghua asked. "Probably 14 kilograms," the staff of Shifeng said. "This place is not easy to operate. See if you have a solution. If it doesn't work, we will send someone to get it back. The drone will be more powerful and have a suitable operating space." 14 kilograms, at least medium-sized logistics drones can be operated, and the downwind medium-sized drones are only a few meters long, and it is difficult to drop. When I heard 14 kilograms, Ho Xinghua was in a dilemma. Their quadrotor drones did not have so much weight-bearing capacity, let alone such complicated operations. He said, "There is no good way for us. Why don't you find a local fellow and ask them to help you find it?" It seems that this is the only way. The staff of Shunfeng is also very helpless. Is this possible to drag it back with a lasso? Lu Zixin asked. Yeah, it is the narrow and complicated terrain, and it is not good to operate, the staff of Shunfeng replied. That's just right, we have to test this drone. What is the location coordinates? Let it try. Lu Zixin pointed to the electric jet drone he brought. The people on the other side of the wind looked at the drone that he said. They didn't have their small drones, and they didn't even have a rotor. He had to say, "You are so funny." In his opinion, to load 14 kilograms, at least medium-sized drones. The standard small drone they are developing now has a load weight of 3 kilograms, and Lu Zixin says that it can load a kilogram. No kidding, you start to operate. It is our first actual flight test, Lu Zixin told the team of Red Letter. Okay, let's start now. The team at Red Letter immediately prepared. Seeing that they are really ready to start work, let alone the people who are downwind, Ho Xinghua is speechless. I hope that this thing is better for them to find a fellow to help bring the drone back. However, the team of Red Letter has already started to operate. The bottom of the small flying saucer has a lightweight mechanical grab hook that can be easily grabbed. In the eyes of everyone, the small flying saucer took off vertically, flew directly into the sky, and went to the coordinate location. I am going, this is actually a jet. The staff of the downwind watched it. Such a small thing is still a jet drone, a bit powerful. They have also studied jet-type installations in the wind, but that is a large drone, and the wings are as long as 20 meters. Such a small one has never thought about it. The speed of the small flying saucer is very fast. It takes less than 10 minutes to reach the accident site. Through the camera of the drone, it can be clearly seen that the downwind fault machine falls in the low place. The staff of the downwind said, "Yes, here, there are too many weed branches here. Our rotorcraft drones must be entangled. You don't have to worry about this flying saucer, that is, our things have 14 kilograms, can you take it?" 14 kilograms, more than enough, the operator of the Red Letter team said confidently, saying, he began to operate the small flying saucer to aim at the target, and then grabbed the mechanical hook that looked like a small but tough material. Downwind failure machine. Give me up, the operator said. The small flying saucer has been successfully taken off with a faulty machine. From the point of view of climbing, its power is completely sufficient, and there is no way to afford it. I actually brought it up. In addition to the people who came from Red Letter, the rest of the people widened their eyes and looked at the picture from the camera. Fly, Ho Xinghua couldn't help but scream. Only the people who have studied know how incredible this is. Their quadrotor drone is more than 3 times larger than this small flying saucer, and its load capacity is not even half of it. And this small flying saucer still cancels the rotor device, which is completely operated by the electric jet device, which is too advanced. I really don't know how the motor inside is designed. How is the energy conversion going? Everyone in the Yinjiang team was stunned and watched this scene. The small flying saucer had already caught the faulty machine and returned. This shows that the goal that Lu Zixin set just now is not impossible, but they have already been completed. Just like they are still studying the 99 multiplication table, and people have begun to study the function. In contrast, their quadrotor drones are simply rubbish, and they can't take it. Is Red Letter really so cow? Researchers at the Yinjiang Logistics R&D team have a bitter heart, and the gap is too big. The downwind staff also looked at it. When he came here, he just took the test of his mentality. Who knows that the other party not only promised to help, but also did it. The most important thing is that they use a jet model that they have never heard of, and their load and flight capacity are even better than their medium-sized 8-rotor drone. In terms of logistics drones, Shunfeng has always been the leading domestic company, and even the first company to obtain flight operation rights. They are more proud of this. However, when they saw this small flying saucer today, he discovered that there is still such a magical things. If the size of this small flying saucer is several times larger, is the carrying capacity not greater? He felt a kind of surprise and panic, and there were already advanced technologies in the small research base next to them. After the operator issued the instruction to return, the small flying saucer quickly returned with the faulty machine. When it landed on the square of the research base, everyone looked at it with eager eyes. They are very curious to know what secrets are hidden in this thing, and they can't wait to open the research immediately. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Black Technology Chat Group of the 10,000 Realms. Author, Huo Dong. Chapter 253. 253 Chapter 253 Air Traffic Management. Chapter 253 Air Traffic Management. Thank you very much. Thanks to the people in the wind, take their faulty machine, and keep this small flying saucer firmly in mind. When they are ready to go back, they will tell their leaders that Yinjiang has developed such a powerful product. When he left, Ho Xinghua and others all surrounded it, and looked at the little flying saucer with a different look. The tone was full of emotion. It's really unappealing, it's so small, it's just a matter of jet power to achieve such a high carrying capacity. I took it, Ho Xinghua said with emotion. Other researchers are equally convinced. I have heard that the R&D team of Red Letter has been so powerful we didn't believe it before I saw it today. How did you research this kind of thing? With this miniature electric jet device, the world can't find more advanced than it. It's really black science and technology. With this thing, it's no wonder that you don't need a rotary wing drone, the 8-rotor logistics drone next to the wind, the performance is better than this. After seeing the flight test scene of the small flying saucer, the Yinjiang team did not intend to accept it, but at the same time, there was some frustration in their hearts. They studied the things for half a year. Compared with the Red Letter, it is simply a pediatrics. Luzixin felt this emotion and comforted, it also took us a lot of effort, don't let things be small, burn money is money. This is just the first test product we have made. We have to rely on your help in practical functions such as logistics and management. Ho Xinghua quickly said, this is our work, Octopus is assured, we will definitely cooperate fully. After all, researching this is of epoch-making significance for the logistics industry all over the world. The fighting spirit of everyone has been motivated. Although this small flying saucer seems small, it represents a profound meaning. Since it is possible to make such a small-scale logistics drone with good performance in terms of power, load, and safety, medium-sized and large-scale can also be made from the gourd. If you are equipped with a suitable intelligent system, the labor distribution will become intelligent distribution after a long time. It is not impossible to enter the urban logistics system. On the same day, the two teams began to coordinate with each other to develop new research directions and goals. Ho Xinghua said to Luzixin, Octopus, with our current technology, can be said to have completed the requirements of the previous Yinjiang logistics. This small UFO-type logistics drone can meet the 95% express parcel delivery. If you make a large drone and use tons of materials, then the most important load capacity is no longer a problem. The most important thing is safety and intelligence. If you get a flight business license, you have to go to the relevant department, prove our strength in this area. In this respect, the UAF is now attributed to the management of the Civil Aviation Department. However, due to the late emergence of the logistics drone, the relevant management methods and operation methods are still not perfect, so there are some omissions in the rules and regulations and need to be improved. Luzixin said, our intelligent system does not have to worry, Red Letter will develop a smart program that closes the logistics management drone, and realizes functions such as automatic distribution, returning, and security warning. The most important thing is that you can manage it yourself, and you should also manage it. Ho Xinghua thought a little and said, Octopus, so to speak, then we have to get the logistics drone flight permit in remote areas and inaccessible areas. It is not a problem if you want to settle in the city, you have to come up with a feasible solution. The program is given to the relevant departments in order to promote the generation of new policies. Luzixan nod, there is no experience in this area, they can also cooperate with relevant departments. In Nankang City, there is a pilot office for logistics drones, which is a deliberate office set up by the Civil Aviation Administration, which is dedicated to coordinating and managing the pilot flights of logistics drones in the region. After staying here for 2 days, Luzixan found it here, hoping to see the management and make some comments. As the president of Red Letter, Luzixan's idea is still very weighty. Mr. Xiao, the mayor of Nankang City and the director of the Office of the Civil Aviation Administration, discussed with him. I still don't know. The original Hongxing group also joined the logistics drone project on behalf of the Nankang municipal government. I welcome you, said the official of Xiao Mayor. Since the Red Letter group came here to research and develop, it is natural to invest funds, which is beneficial to the construction and development of the region. He naturally welcomes it. I heard that Mr. Liu has some suggestions for our work. I don't know what advice, Director Wang asked. Luzixan said in a clear and concise manner, this is the case. We have formed a cooperation with Yinjiang Logistics to develop a logistics drone project. Not only that, but we also intend to make it a national logistics drone. The network, not just in remote areas and inaccessible areas, has some specific policies and implementation plans, and I want to discuss it with you. Listening to him, the two leaders first expressed their affirmation, and then Director Wang said, Mr. Liu, you must have learned about these aspects. We are naturally very supportive of the application of new technologies in civil logistics. It's the current logistics drone, not very suitable for our densely populated areas. He said some difficulties. Luzixan was naturally prepared. He had already discussed with Ho Xinghua and the team of Red Letter. What, you already have this level of logistics drone? Director Wang was surprised to understand. At present, the logistics drones approved by major logistics companies are all rotary type, so they consider the scope of application of such rotary type drones. As for the new drones manufactured by Red Letter, the applicability seems to be radiation to other areas. Yes, Luzixan showed him the information and said, we can guarantee the safety and intelligence of such an electric jet drone. Similarly, it is different from ordinary drones. Will install our smart chip and management system. We hope to cooperate with the Civil Aviation Department to establish a complete intelligent air traffic management system. This will facilitate the operation of logistics drones and facilitate your supervision. When I heard Luzixan say this, Director Wang's eyes glowed with enthusiasm and said with great interest, good thoughts, this is our biggest headache now. The drone has always been a problem in supervision. Air traffic is not as well controlled as road traffic. We can't arrange personnel or cameras to supervise in the sky. This idea is very good, however, I still need to report it. Listen to the comments above. End of this chapter. The Black Technology Chat Group of the 10,000 Realms. Author, Huo Dong. Chapter 254. 254 Chapter 254 It ran away. Chapter 254 It ran away. Luzixan's comments were quickly reported, and in less than 3 days, there was feedback. The leaders of the Civil Aviation Department attach great importance to this opinion. They must send people to discuss with Red Letters, and some others will also come to the research base of Yinjiang. Yinjiang Logistics UOF Research Base. When engineers are watching the site, they are planning to double the research base and add some facilities. Mr. Xiao took some people to visit and study on the spot. The first time he came was not the staff of the Civil Aviation Department, but the researchers from the Beijing Aerospace Research Institute. They are very interested in the electric jet drones that Red Letter has researched. They think that this technology can be used not only in small drones, but also in military and other fields, so they want to reach some agreements with Red Letter. Luzixan doesn't mind this. The electric jet is not very good in military use. mainly because it is too susceptible to interference, and some electromagnetic interference devices can make it malfunction. And if it is to be a high-power drone, battery energy supply is a big problem. Their current lithium-ion battery is not able to provide energy for large motors. Some agreements have been reached with people in the relevant departments. Just like the last cloud host, it is inconvenient to mention. Luzixen's proposal for the use of logistics drones in urban areas has also received the attention of the civil aviation authorities. They said that they will quickly improve the corresponding system specifications and are willing to work with Hongxin Group to develop an intelligent air traffic management system. If the conditions are ripe, the city logistics drone will be developed. Of course, all of this takes time, and the policy will not be able to come down for a while, and it needs to be tried and improved. In short, Luzixen's goal to Nankang City is halfway. The next step is to go to Zhongcheng and arrange this air traffic intelligent management system. Zhongcheng, Hongxin Software Development Co., Limited. Upon receiving a new assignment, Liang Song immediately established a new project department to organize research. Traffic management system, we didn't have any experience before. You can learn without experience, Han Jia said. When the Carey Group developed the City Brain traffic management system with the traffic management department, isn't there any experience? Our air traffic management system is mainly for the UAV management in the low altitude field. The amount of information is smaller than them. Is it worse than them? Of course not. Red Letter's employees are full of confidence. When it comes to artificial intelligence, they are definitely the top companies in the world. That line, "This task is handed over to you," Luzixen said, "I will not participate. Package on us, we will definitely complete this intelligent system as soon as possible." Han Jia from the channel, "The current team and the Red Letter cloud system, it is not very difficult to complete such work. Nowadays, the Red Letter cloud host has been transferred to the location. Red Letter has built a data center underground, and the cloud host device is also placed there." Luzixen also went to visit it and felt a little dissatisfied. In addition to the cloud host given by Red Queen, other computer room devices take up a lot of space and the equipment is complicated, but the data space adds up to the cloud host. For computer information technology, the gap between each level is measured in billions. It is still too difficult for Red Letter to create a computer with the technical level of the umbrella company. And to make real artificial intelligence, you must have that kind of technology. Luzixen began to research mobile phone chips, and they also laid the foundation for these plans. It turns out that his plan is not wrong. Just because of the mobile phone chip technology, the Red Letter Group has been researching for more than 2 years, and it has accumulated a lot of technical and capital costs. But this is not enough. Luzixen has to wait for the company's chip technology and semiconductor electronics technology to refine it to get involved in supercomputer manufacturing. Now Luzixen, the research center of Red Letter, is using technical materials, and they can't make the corresponding products. When Luzixen returned to Pengcheng, Suzhirong came back from the United States. She returned directly to her residence. When Luzixen went back, she was sleeping in bed. Now it is the time of the city, 12:00, according to the New York time is 23:00 at night. Suzhirong is still in the jet lag. It is estimated that this afternoon has to sleep. Luzixen sat by the bed and looked at her quietly. Suzhirong's eyes were slightly closed, the eyelashes were gently covered, and the white wall's innocent cheeks were covered with hair, and the back was facing the window. A ray of sunlight shone from the gap in the curtain and sprinkled on the jade foot that she had barely exposed to the quilt. This kind of picture makes Luzixen feel inexplicable and warm. Just sit by the bed and enjoy a quiet time. The room was quiet, but the 10,000 Realms Science and Technology chat group was very lively. Tony Stark has a very headache and is asking the group in the group. "It's awful, I never thought I would encounter this kind of thing," Tony Stark complained. Peter Parker, "Mr. Stark, what's wrong, is your steel shirt smashed again?" Tony Stark, what is again? Peter Parker, sorry, I forgot, we are not in a parallel universe. Red Queen's gloating speech, at Peter Parker, emoticon, you are finished, waiting to be suppressed by the big sister. Luzixon asked, what happened? Tony Stark, I and Dr. Hank Pym have developed a new type of artificial intelligence using the human brainwave model, we call it Austrian. Ao Chuang can be said to be the most advanced intelligent robot in the world. It is faster than the fastest computer. I also designed a steel warrior for it. It was originally made by us. It was originally planned to be used as Earth Defense Force. But it escaped. Peter Parker, running away, you mean, the smart robot you made has escaped? Maybe you can contact the world's Spider-Man, he can be good at catching thieves? Red Queen, emoticon, alert, find mental retardation, escaping the escaping, is the program running away. Tony Stark, yes, the core program of Ao Chuang can theoretically exist in any corner of the internet, it is difficult to find it at the same time, it can also exist in the specially designed robot body when it escapes. It also steals. I have dozens of steel battle suits, I have searched for a few, but this is completely useless. As long as you can't catch its core program, it can copy and build your own body indefinitely. I am worried that Aquang has made some unpredictable changes. End of this chapter. The Black Technology Chat Group of the 10,000 Realms. Author, Huo Dong. Chapter 255. 255 is the 255 chapter. Skin happy? Are you happy with the 255 chapter? Peter Parker asked curiously, why is it going to run away? Red Queen, is it abused by you? Keep it in little black, you can't talk, you can't make emoticon. Emoticon, pity. Mr. L, not all intelligence likes to send emoticon. Red Queen, yes, after all, this Red Queen is a master of fighting. Emoticon, smile. Tony Stark, we didn't interfere with it. Its knowledge and skills are all learned in the database and on the internet. Worst of all, we don't know when it has a sense of autonomy and flee in it. Previously, I once thought that its intelligence was only one level higher than Jarvis, and now it seems that I am wrong. Red Queen, what does it want to do? Tony Stark, I have a bad guess, hope is not true. It left a message. It seems that it has produced some extreme ideas and is not very friendly to organic life. Red Queen immediately understood and said, does it want to destroy humans? Mr. L, how do you know? Red Queen, because I am also a smart life, although there is no steel shell, but some calculation process is similar. For example, to eliminate human beings, at first I thought that we must eliminate the human beings who have biochemical virus, and then I think ordinary humans are also hidden dangers. According to the program simulation, their 99% will also be infected, so the elimination is the most suitable way of calculation. What about now? Luzixon asked. Red Queen, now, I am in the water now. Tony Stark reluctantly said, if that's the case, the trouble is big now. I can't find its hiding place by exhausting all the way, and there is news that it seems to have taken away some Edelman metal and new type global attack weapon. If it is planned to destroy humans, the consequences are simply unimaginable. Peter Parker, it's too dangerous. Should there be a way for other people in the group? At Red Queen, at. He put the group members in it again. Luzixon reluctantly said, to be honest, I really have no way. This guy has more than half of the artificial intelligence. Red Queen, I should be able to trace its information, but the process of capturing it is difficult because it can copy its own core programs indefinitely and exist in any computer in the world. Said, Red Queen sent Tony Stark a red envelope, which is a tracking program for artificial intelligence programs. Although it has a limited effect, it can at least allow Tony to track the address of Ao Chuang and understand its movements. Bruce Wayne, I want to say the same as Red Queen, unless you can trap its thinking in an entity, otherwise it can't be controlled or destroyed. Thinking in the entity, Tony Stark was inspired and said, Ao Chuang stole the Edelman metal and also controlled my steel core. It definitely wants to make a strong entity, maybe it is possible. Optimus Prime also appeared. It said, this guy is like the guys of the Decepticons. It doesn't allow you to exist differently from yourself. Unfortunately, I am not there, otherwise I will do it. Only the manufacturer Luke is very calm, saying, a small intelligent robot, still want to turn the sky. The big man dismissed the Austrian creation, and the power of his research has long been the intrinsic power of the universe, light and dark. He said, I have some isolation instruments here. As long as you find it, you can limit it to the scope of the instrument and let you dispose of it. The manufacturer Luke sent the instrument to Tony Stark, and Tony quickly thanked him. Red Queen, good terrifying instrument. Emoticon, tremble. Tony Stark, thank you for your help, I will arrange it now. After he got off the assembly line, Red Queen said with emotion, the young smart now, I want to destroy the human world. Unfortunately Emoticon, I can't stand it anymore. Mr. L, the old fritters are smart now, and they are impressed by the movement. Emoticon, it's really a slippery world. Red Queen, Emoticon, oh, filthy me. Peter Parker, Skip, slipped, and the big guys continue to talk, I am going to a date. Red Queen, Emoticon, contempt, a small spider who has reached estrus, why boring mammals always like to be eager to mate, and there are so many boring rituals and processes before mating. Red Queen, Emoticon, serious thinking, maybe Ao Kwang is not accustomed to your behavior, so I want to destroy you. Luzixin said, if you see you, you definitely want to destroy you. You are the wonder of artificial intelligence. Red Queen, Emoticon, you seem to be making me laugh, is it destroying me? My biochemical regiment must be able to kill its mechanical core. My biochemical regiment is through super serum and extraterrestrial parasites, as well as the latest creature's genetic technology has been improved. Mr. L, Emoticon, do you laugh with a try, believe it or not, I will blow your dog. Red Queen, hey, hee hee, giggling, ha ha ha. Emoticon, hammer. Mr. L, Emoticon, are you happy with the skin? Red Queen, Emoticon, sorry, I am really happy with the skin. Luzixin was struggling with Red Queen. Suddenly an arm hugged him from behind. He looked back and Suzhirong was closing his eyes and his head resting on his shoulder. Said curiously, laughter, so happy. There are people fighting in the group, Luzixin said. Well, wake up, don't sleep more. Hungry Suzhirong smiled and said. Wait, give you a hot porridge. Luzixin is directly controlled by the mobile phone, so that the microwave oven in the home automatically joins the porridge that has been prepared. Ah, so tired, Suzhirong stretched out and leaned against the bed. Luzixin said with a smile, I am working hard, I am going to buy a private jet, so it is much more convenient to go out every time. Now that the company's business is big, the places that need to travel are not limited to the domestic, but around the world. If you wait for the ticket, it is a waste of time. Although the speed of the flight is fast, there are time schedules, and it is very troublesome to go to the airport at least half an hour before each flight. If you have a private jet, it will be much more convenient. Okay, so I don't have to catch a flight. Suzhirong nodded. She was a little more awake. She said work problems and said with disappointment on her face, this time I went to the United States, the problem still remains unresolved. Subscribe, monthly ticket. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Black Technology Chat Group of the 10,000 Realms. Author, Huo Dong. Chapter 256. 256 Chapter 256 is a threat. Chapter 256 Red Letter is a threat. I have talked with the three telecom operators. Sprint Nextel is the most keen to introduce our products. AT&T and Verizon also expressed their willingness to cooperate, but they also indicated that the policy is unknown and they need to wait for the notice from the US Federal Communications Commission. Sprint Nextel, the Chinese name Sprint, is the third-ranked telecom operator in the United States, with a market capitalization of about $26 billion. On top of it, it is the second-ranked operator Verizon, with a market value of nearly $200 billion US, the first AT&T, American Telephone and Telegraph Corporation, market value reached $230 billion US. The US mobile phone market and China's situation are completely different. Huaxia people buy mobile phones are to look at the mobile phone brand first, and then choose which carrier. The Americans are accustomed to buying the products directly from the operators. The operators occupy more than 90% of the market. Without the support of the operators, the mobile phones do not need to talk about sales. Luzixon frowned. It looks like it's useless to find out which operator to use for this incident. In fact, when Red Letter was not ready to enter the US market, there were already US telecom operators who took the initiative to find a door to cooperate. The market potential of Red Letter's smart products is obvious to all. The Chinese market and the island market have fully proved this point. For telecom operators, no matter what mobile phone they sell, they can make money, and naturally they are very happy. But for the US market, the entry of the Red Letter Group is completely another level of affairs. Suzhirong nodded and analyzed, if our products enter the US market, it will definitely have a huge impact on the US market. The first is the mobile phone industry. The United States alone generates profits every year compared to some countries be high. If Apple and other mobile phone companies are defeated by us in the US market, the US economic system will be greatly affected. There are also mobile phone chip industry, Qualcomm, Broadcom, and other companies. Intelligent services hit Google, Microsoft. Our products and services involve almost half of the internet industry, and behind these companies are big capitalists and politicians in the United States. They are certainly not happy to see Red Letter enter the US market. Suzhirong hasn't said the problem to the most serious. For consumers, it is nothing more than a problem that can be chosen by more than one mobile phone. But now the influence of the Red Letter Group is not a mobile phone issue, but a matter of the entire US economy. How big is the influence of big companies? Companies like Google, Microsoft, Apple, and Samsung have surpassed many countries in the world economy rankings. That's right, the influence of big companies in economic behavior is even stronger than in many countries. Apple's annual iPhone sales account for about 0.3% of the US GDP. For example, after Apple announced that it will gradually transfer more than $200 billion overseas to the US market, the US president even immediately called the Apple CEO's library. Yes, praise his contribution to the American economy. The Samsung Group's annual turnover accounts for 20% of the entire Korean country's GDP. Its revenue is related to the economic development of the entire country, ranking the top 50 in the world economy, and so on. If Red Letter is as invincible as the island market in the US market, the impact will be immeasurable, and Wall Street capitalists may be jumping in the queue. In view of this, the big capitalists and government officials in the United States are vigilant against the Red Letter Group and dare not let Red Letter easily enter the US market. Suzhirong asked, do you want to temporarily put down the US market and open up the European market? Luzixon thought for a while and said, now the Red Letter is only influential in China and the surrounding areas. If you want to deploy the whole world, you must enter the North American market. The United States and Canada are the two most important markets in the North American market. The attitude of the country and the US market to us also represents the attitude of the Canadian market. This thing, I think about it again. Luzixon doesn't want to compromise as simple as this. Americans are afraid that they will hit the high-profile science and technology industry in the US and want to protect their businesses and markets. Is it only allowed them to make money around the world? However, the actual situation is very complicated. The United States is no better than China. In China, Red Letter is a domestic enterprise and is protected by its own policies. But in the United States, they are foreign companies with huge threats and are excluded from policy. Of course, this situation is also unique to the Red Letter Group. Because other companies enter the US market, they are not competitive in science and technology and the market, and it is easy to pass the review. Only Red Letter is the leader in science and technology, and the nature is completely different. In the past few days, Luzixin has approved a new procurement plan, preparing to purchase a total of 15 private small business aircraft from the two aircraft companies, with an estimated purchase amount of 1 billion yuan. The most expensive is Luzixin to prepare a Gulfstream private jet for himself. The price is around 2.5 billion Huaxia coins, and the rest is a business machine arranged for the company's top management to facilitate their travel. This price is not a top luxury aircraft. Mainly Luzixin is reluctant to spend more than 1 billion to buy those luxury aircraft. He always feels that the performance of these aircraft is also like this. If the group is big to send a car, performance is definitely better than this more advanced. After the aircraft is purchased, special private pilots and flight attendants are required, which are arranged by the company. Luzixin went to the United States before his private jet arrived. In a few days, the US Federal Communications Commission will approve the application for the product of the Red Letter Group. He will see a few people first. The first is the current president of AT&T Group. American Telephone and Telegraph Company headquarters in Dallas, Texas. Its predecessor is Bell Telephone Company. Bell is not the top of the food chain Bell Gruyers, but the father of the phone called Alexander Bell. The company has been leading the world since its inception, and is still the world's leading telecommunications operator, ranking among the top 10 most valuable companies in the world. It can be said that it is a giant beast in the world economic market. Luzixin met Gru in the stylish @nth headquarters building. He is about 40 years old this year, with short black hair, suits, white shirts, and traditional workplace elites. This person is at the helm of a multinational company worth hundreds of billions. Its ability cannot be underestimated. "It's nice to meet you, dear Mr. Lu." Gru shook hands with him. He wouldn't speak Chinese, but the translation function of Luzixin's mobile phone perfectly solved this problem. "I am also honored." Luzixin sat opposite him, and after a brief exchange, he began to negotiate on company affairs. End of this chapter. The Black Technology Chat Group of the 10,000 Realms. Author, Huo Dong. Chapter 257. 257 Chapter 257 Insider Message. Chapter 257 Insider Message. Gru first stated that our company is very happy to reach an operational agreement with Red Letter, but this incident has encountered some irresistible resistance. "Mr. Gru, I am here for this. I want to know the FCC's attitude towards our Red Letter products," Luzixin said straightforwardly. "Gru, as the president of the American Telephone and Telephone Company, there must be a way. Know the inside information of the US Federal Communications Commission." Gru smiled and said, "I don't know much. The FCC actually has different opinions on the products of Red Letter. I don't know until the specific approval opinions are down. But Mr. Lu doesn't have to worry. I can introduce you to a friend, Mr. Taylor Walker, who is now an important figure in the ruling party and a member of the Federal Communications Commission. He certainly knows some inside information, and if he has him speaking for the Red Letter, I think this will be much easier." It turned out to be the case. "Then I am very interested in meeting Mr. Walker," Luzixin said. "Here, the relationship between capitalists and political party members is far more complicated than imagined. The Taylor Walker is definitely close to AT&T." Luzixin and Gru negotiated for a while, and in the evening, Gru specially arranged a dinner to entertain Luzixin and introduce Taylor Walker. The place where Gru arranged dinner was in a private villa with a wide area, surrounded by neat lawns and horticultural plants. And there are many facilities in it, luxurious and rich. In the villa, you can see sexy young waitresses with all kinds of skin colors. When Luzixin arrived, Taylor Walker had arrived. He was in his 50s, fat, wearing a loose robe and lying by the pool. Under the gentle light, a group of tall swimsuit girls are playing around, drinking, swimming, and one is giving him a massage. Taylor Walker is drinking champagne and screaming at the younger girl who is 30 years younger. The laughter is unscrupulous. Gru has clearly become accustomed to it, saying, "Mr. Walker has always been very casual in private activities." Luzixin laughs and says, "No, this is casual. If this guy drinks a little more, he is afraid to play adult movies on the side of this open-air swimming pool." Gru went to the front. Mr. Walker, Mr. Lu Yan of the Hongxing group arrived. Taylor Walker looked at Luzixin sideways and sat up with a smile. "Huaxia's friend is here, don't you welcome it?" When he finished, a few girls came in and surrounded by Luzixin. Luzixin waved his hand and said, "I am here to talk about business." Gru said to them, "You are on the side." Luzixin sat next to Taylor Walker, and Gru also added a chair. The three first drank a glass of champagne before they started talking. Luzixin also learned English and mastered a lot of memory, but the spoken language is not very standard, so Gru replaced him to help him. He said, "Mr. Walker, the president of Red Letters Lu Yan came to the United States this time and wanted to cooperate with our AT&T to sell their products in the US market, but our cooperation has received some resistance from the Federal Communications Commission. You know why?" "Ha ha ha," Taylor Walker laughed and said, "this is a secret in the committee and cannot be said indiscriminately." Luzixin smiled and said, "We are just chatting with friends, and we won't say anything if we hear anything." Gru nodded and said, "Mr. Lu Yan is very friendly." Taylor Walker said with a smile, "I know that he is not only friendly, but also very rich. I also hope that Red Letter can contribute to the economic development of our United States, but some people do not think so." There is something in his words, but he does not directly say it, but deliberately sells it. Luzixin is not in a hurry. If he is too eager to ask, he will fall. He transferred the topic to the villa and said, "This is a really good place. I always wanted to buy a holiday estate, like this." Gru said with a smile, "Here, not only the manor, you can buy a large farm, and it's okay to race in your own home." "This is a good idea," Luzixin nodded. The two people went farther and farther, and Taylor Walker was impatient. He indicated that the young girl next to him poured a glass of champagne and said, "The problem of the Red Letter is difficult to solve." Luzixin asked, "What trouble?" Taylor Walker waved his hand and the girls ran away. He said slowly, "After AT&T submitted a cooperation with Red Letter, our Federal Communications Commission received a joint opinion from as many as 25 members of Congress. There is also a warning from the National Information Security Department that the committee is required to conduct a rigorous review of Red Letter's products. They believe that the chip of Red Letter's smart products is likely to have a backdoor, which has the risk of revealing user privacy and endangering US national information security." Luzixin hearing here, sneer in my heart, it is ridiculous. The United States once provoked scandals that used smart products to monitor user privacy in the background, causing unanimous accusations around the world. Now they actually treat Red Letter as they do. Luzixin said, "Mr. Walker, I guarantee that there is absolutely no so-called back-end in our products, and we will not involve user privacy by any means." Taylor Walker shrugged and said, "I am also willing to believe you, but this is evidence. As far as I know, most members of the Federal Communications Commission and the US National Information Security Agency now agree that the smart chips of Red Letter's smart products may have security vulnerability. If nothing else, your cooperation can't be done." The news Luzixin is ready, he asked, "Mr. Walker, then how do you think Red Letter should prove that there is no problem and get formal business qualifications?" Taylor Walker smiled mysteriously, looked at Luzixin with deep thoughts, picked up his own glass, and swayed and said, in this land where the Statue of Liberty is singing, everything is possible. The existing idea is not if you change, you only need to make the corresponding changes, or, at a price. You can see that Mr. Lu Yan is reluctant. Lu Zixin slightly frowned. What does this guy mean in the end? Is it to find someone to ask for benefits? Still have something else? At this time, Gru interjected, since they think there is a problem with the chip, then it is enough to solve the chip problem? Taylor Walker nodded and said, Gru is really a smart entrepreneur. After I got on the shelves, I didn't ask for a referral ticket. Some people said that I brushed the data. How is this possible? I can't afford to brush it all. If there is a ticket, I can vote for it. There are 2 more today. End of this chapter. The Black Technology Chat Group of the 10,000 Realms. Author, Huo Dong. Chapter 258. 258 Chapter 258 Talks Collapsed. Chapter 258 Talks Collapsed. Our chip has no problems, how to solve it? Lu Zixin faintly felt something wrong. Of course it is fully tested by the Federal Communications Commission and the US National Information Security Department, Taylor Walker said with a smile. Attention, it is fully accepted, not partially accepted. According to the data provided by Red Letter, we are still not sure about the problem. More detailed testing data is needed. The information we are submitting now is fully compliant with international and federal committee standards. I don't know what else needs to be added, Lu Zixin asked. Pa, Taylor Walker snapped a finger and a girl picked it up next to a laptop. She opened it and showed her request to Lu Zixin. Lu Zixin just looked a little, his brows wrinkled, and when he finished reading, his face even had an angry color. It's totally unreasonable, Lu Zixin said directly. The information requested here involves our trade secrets and it is absolutely impossible to provide an audit. The requirements in the laptop are simply disguised, and let Red Letter tell them about the chip manufacturing technology of Red Letter. The most critical part of all the smart products of Red Letter can be said to be the Red Core smart chip. It is relying on this chip, the function of Red Letter smart products can surpass other peers. Although the other party disguised the requirements as various conditions, Lu Zixin could see at a glance that if they submitted these, they could completely restore the Red Core chip manufacturing technology according to the Red Core samples. This is too ugly. It's just robbery. Mr. Lu, don't lose your temper, Taylor Walker looked mean with a smile. This is not my request, but the requirements of the committee and the Information Security Department. Of course, I also know that such a request is indeed a bit wrong, he continued. I and Gru are old friends for many years. As a friend, I can personally provide you with a viable solution. What program? Lu Zixin has already developed a sense of disgust. He now finds that Gru seems to have known the news long ago, but did not tell him. It seems that Gru and Taylor Walker are an interest group. Since the committee believes that your chip has information security risks, and Red Letter is not willing to provide such information, then Red Letter's products can be replaced with other smart chips. For example, our Qualcomm chip is good. Many of your mobile phone manufacturers in China are all using Qualcomm chips, said Taylor Walker. Impossible, Lu Zixin immediately retorted, and Taylor Walker suddenly fell cold. It's ridiculous. Lu Zixin didn't want to chat with him anymore, and the 2 schemes that this guy mentioned were simply nonsense. The first plan, that is the technical achievements of robbing them, there is no possibility. As for the second plan, it is even more funny. The biggest advantage of Red Letter is its own high-performance chip. If you replace the Qualcomm chip, you need to spend a lot of money on Qualcomm. Does the Red Letter product still call Red Letter? Mismatched chips will make the performance of the product instantly reach a level with other brands, and some functions will be limited, such as intelligent voice, information processing and the like. At that time, the advantages of Red Letter will disappear, let alone compete for the US market. Gru saw him angry and quickly advised, Mr. Lu, don't be excited, Mr. Walker just said a proposal. In fact, I think this program is not bad. Qualcomm is the world's largest semiconductor manufacturer and wireless chip supplier. Their technology and services are world-class. If Red Letter's products can use Qualcomm's chips, there is no problem at all. Taylor Walker also said, not only is no problem, as long as the chip is no problem, Red Letter is working with the three major operators at the same time. We will not make restrictions. If you are interested, I personally want to promote the business of Red Letter and Qualcomm project. Having said that, Luzixon can't understand. This Taylor Walker is one of the vested interests of the communications industry. If Red Letter successfully cooperates with the three major operators, 1% will damage the interests of those big capitalists, so this is absolutely impossible. If they get the technology of Red Letter, the ability of the US company will soon be able to replicate production. In other words, Red Letter's smart products replaced chips and lost their competitiveness. They also assured that Red Letter entered the US market. At the same time, this Taylor Walker could also get a lot of money in the transactions of Red Letter and Qualcomm. As for the AT&T represented by Grug, there is definitely a dispute of interest, so he also helps to be a lobbyist. I refuse. Luzixon did not leave a little room for negotiation. He said with certainty, the Red Letter Group is absolutely impossible to accept such conditions now and in the future. Taylor Walker played with the wine glass in his hand and looked at the beautiful body of the girl in the distance. He said calmly, if this is the case, Mr. Lu Yan, I think the Federal Communications Commission will regretfully announce that the three major operators are forbidden cooperation with Red Letter. I advise you to think about it. The US market is so big, even if the Red Letter is slightly changed, you can earn unlimited wealth. Even if this is the case, Luzixon coldly snorted and said, Red Letter will not compromise. Our products have been licensed for sale in the US market, Red Letter will definitely join. The ban on cooperation with telecom operators by the Federal Communications Commission does not mean that the phone cannot be sold in the United States. The sale is for sale. This is a market rule. There is no clear evidence that there is a problem with the mobile phone of Red Mail. They also have no right to ban sales of Red Letter products. The difference is that once the Federal Communications Commission prohibits the cooperation of the three major telecom operators and Red Letter, it is difficult for Red Letter to open the market. 90% or more of the customer resources are in the hands of the three major operators. Lost these markets, and the sale has no meaning. This is like online shopping. Other online store goods have courier services, only your online store does not have courier services. Users will buy almost no choice. Taylor Walker laughed and said, I remember that there is also a mobile phone manufacturer in China, and Huawei is also banned by the Federal Communications Commission from cooperating with the three major operators. Now the sales of this mobile phone in the United States is really bleak. But the Red Letter is different, Luzixon said in a word, the thing that our Red Letter Group is best at is to make the impossible possible. What can I say? Great dreams, but it is not China, it can't fulfill your Chinese dream, Taylor Walker said. Federal Communications Commission acquired will also conduct a voting meeting to announce the approval results. If you change ideas, you can contact Grug. No, leave. Luzixon went straight to the hand. Since they are this attitude, then nothing to talk about. Burgar is an unacceptable condition for Red Letter to receive. Impossible. However, there is no way for Huawei to take them, but they can only endure their suppression in the US market, but this does not mean that there is still no way for Red Letter. Grug quickly sent Luzixon out, and both sides knew that this negotiation was a complete talk. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Black Technology Chat Group of the 10,000 Realms. Author, Huo Dong. Chapter 259. 259. Chapter 259 is not a shot, for Sun Family, you add more. The 259 chapter does not shoot the gun, for the Sun family you add more. Luzixon left, Taylor Walker said with a smile, the Chinese is really stubborn, and my opinion has been very good. If you follow the advice of others in the Communication Committee, it will directly ban the cooperation between Red Letter and us telecom operators, and will not give them opportunities. Gru shook his head. Maybe he thought there was room for maneuver. Huaxia people like to have reservations about business. Maybe he will change his mind after going back. Unable to understand, said Taylor Walker. If they don't follow the requirements, the US market is bigger and there is no share for them. When the Federal Communications Commission announces the results, he wants to come to me again, and the price is more than that now. The enchanting girl lit a cigar to Taylor Walker, and he enjoyed it with his eyes open. This villa, these wonderful girls, as well as champagne and cigars, are the benefits of such a deal. It's just that today's deal is not as imaginary. Luzixon went back to the residence and briefly said what happened today in the group, which immediately attracted the collective resentment of the top management. Tang Gang said in the program group, it's too hateful to these Americans. They are afraid that we will grab their cakes of interest and blame our technology. We also threaten the ban, shameless. Dai Liangke emphasized, our red core is our core competitiveness, that is, we give up the US market, and we must not compromise. As a major research and development member, he has a lot of hard work in the red core, and he naturally does not want to be taken away by others. Luzixon replied, I mean this too, no matter what decision the US Federal Communications Commission makes, we will not waver. Suzhirong, support. Xiegan, then the director of Red Letter's Smart Glasses business, said, Octopus, if the three major US telecom operators are banned from working with us, what about our US marketing plan? His problems are also everyone wants to know. In the current situation, this unfavorable situation is almost what they have to face. Luzixon said, you don't have to worry, our products will continue to be pushed into the US market. However, the way to enter the US market may have to change when I return to China. I will discuss it with you. Okay, Octopus, everyone responded. If other bosses say they don't have to worry, they will doubt their authenticity, but Luzixon's words have an inexplicable charm. As long as Luzixon says, then. In fact, Luzixon can't think of a good way for the time being. But he is not afraid, he also has a strong support group. Luzixon sent his confusion to the group. Red Queen immediately said with impetuosity, they are too arrogant, the owner, I will give you some virus, destroy them directly. Emoticon, I want to destroy the earth, not a joke. Bruce Wayne, well, it fits the face of the capitalist. Red Queen, emoticon, week 1, I am also a capitalist. Bruce Wayne, it's right, I am also a capitalist, ha ha ha. He smiled and said, this matter has not been announced. If you want to solve this problem through normal channels, you have to prepare a lawsuit with them for several years. I guess it is tangled in the end. I don't agree with the abnormal channels. Red Queen, emoticon, say weak again, seems to be equal to white. Mr. L, at Red Queen, emoticon, you will be beaten like this. Red Queen, funny emoticon, so scared. Luzixon stopped the fight in time and asked, Mr. Wayne, is there any other way? Bruce Wayne said, of course, it only takes a little effort. Luzixon said curiously, how do you do this? Bruce Wayne, since the Federal Communications Commission prohibits the three major telecom operators from working with you, they can't ban your sales in the market, and you can operate on your own. Own your own operations, Luzixon said helplessly. The difficulty and cost are too high. If Red Letter operates independently in the US market, it must provide telecommunications services. The three major operators cannot cooperate. It does not make sense for small operators to cooperate. Many of their telecommunications services are flawed or only local. Is it Red Letter? Can I use the phone only in one area? That user will never be satisfied. Bruce Wayne, you can provide global communications and network services by launching 3 simultaneous communications satellites on the equator at that time. You can operate completely independently of a single country market or a global market, the so-called ban. I can't help you. Mr. L. Launching 3 simultaneous communications satellites, Bruce Wayne said it must be the kind of large high science and technology communications satellite, which can't be done with the current technology of red letter. Not to mention the red letter, it is difficult to do this with the power of the state. The satellites made by the satellites meet the needs of some groups, and it is impossible to provide services to the users. Most importantly, satellite research, launch, technology and capital costs are too high, and the red letter group is still unable to get it. Luzixon said, this method can't be completed in a short time. Bruce Wayne, well, then wait, maybe it's not necessarily a turning point. It's always a good idea to take time to think about it. Isn't there an old saying in China, there must be a road to the mountain, the boat gets to the pier head, it will go straight with the current. Mr. L, okay, I think about it. Red Queen, emoticon, quietly kill, don't shoot the gun, the owner, you quietly kill the committee, and then give me their genetic information, I clone them and replace them, isn't it solved? Bruce Wayne, at Red Queen, seriously warn you, if you do, Batman won't sit back and watch. Red Queen quickly withdrew the news and sent a picture, emoticon, afraid of bowing his head. Luzixon also did not consider Red Queen's suggestion. If everything is obtained by those means, what is the difference between him and the umbrella company's Dr. Isaacs? As for the solution to this matter, it is still necessary to wait for the official approval of the US Federal Communications Commission. 2 days later, the internal meeting of the Federal Communications Commission of the United States not only had internal members of the committee, but also key personnel from the National Information Security Center. At this meeting, they will vote for Red Letter's smart products and US telecom operators. Can the cooperation pass smoothly? Seeking rewards, subscriptions, monthly passes. End of this chapter. The Black Technology Chat Group of the 10,000 Realms. Author, Huo Dong. Chapter 260. 260 Chapter Official Results. Official 260 Chapter Results. At the conference table, the chairman of the committee, Rees, was sitting in danger and gazing at each representative. Everyone has no emoticon on their faces. Some people exchange their eyes with each other. It seems that they have already made a decision. Rees said, before the voting begins, we will first announce the preliminary approval opinions. If you have different opinions, you can raise them. Huaxia Hongxin Electronic Science and Technology Co., Limited applied for cooperation with intelligent products of AT&T, Verizon and Sprint Nextel in China. After a serious investigation, the chip data of Red Letter's smart products is unknown, and it is impossible to prove whether it has security vulnerability according to the requirements of the US Department of Information Security. Such suspected information technology products should be strictly controlled. Therefore, we initially believe that AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint Nextel should abide by the joint request of the Federal Communications Commission and the US Department of Information Security to stop all cooperation with Huaxia Hongxin Electronic Science and Technology Co., Limited. Is there any doubt about this? When Rees asked, there was no voice in the audience. Each of them is a representative of a certain interest group. Unfortunately, they all agree that the Red Letter Group will harm their interests and certainly will not speak for them. Taylor Walker is wearing a suit and looks serious. It seems that he is a representative of justice. He said righteously, I fully support the decision of the committee. According to the investigation, there may be a secret agreement between the Red Letter Group and the Huaxia official, endangering information security in our country. Therefore, we must strictly enforce this ban. When he finished, everyone nodded. The vote was then started, and no accident was made. The ban was endorsed by the Federal Communications Commission. Officials from the Ministry of Information Security are satisfied. We are very supportive of such a wise decision. Thank you for your contribution to maintaining national information security. Subsequently, the US Federal Communications Commission officially announced the news. For the strategic plan of Red Letter to enter the US market, countless companies and capitalists are paying attention, and even include the economic sectors of some countries. This news has stirred up 1,000 waves, and some people are fortunate that some people are angry. American Telecom and Telegraph Company, GRU, received the news before the news report. He shook his head, said with a smile, "This Luyan actually did not compromise." The ban came out, and within a few years of the Red Letter, it is estimated that it will not enter the US market. "We have no losses in the office," another vice president said. "If Red Letter is bigger in the communications industry, it is a threat to the entire US communications and smart products market. Such a decision is wise." "It's a pity," GRU said with a smile. "Apple has lost 2 times in their hands at this meeting. Apple has definitely spent a lot of effort to stop them." He guessed it right. At this time, Apple's board members were sighed in relief. Unlike other companies, Apple does not have so-called individual shareholders, but collectively controlled by major capital groups, with more than 2,000 institutions with a certain amount of Apple shares. Therefore, the fluctuation of Apple's stock price will affect the financial market around the world. The previous loss in the Chinese market and the island market has caused Apple to directly and indirectly lose a lot of benefits. This time, the Red Letter has to enter the US market, and they have not spent less time blocking it. The speedy implementation of the ban on red letters is also the result of the joint efforts of major interest groups. In addition to the interest groups behind Apple, other smart product companies and related interests in the communications industry have also added a fire. The ban did not cause any waves in the US media, and there were not even a few media reports. The American people are very strange to Red Letter. Even if there is a small part of it, they will not change the big trend, and naturally they will not care about this issue. However, in China, it caused an uproar. The headline of the day is this one: "The Hongxin Group has been unfairly treated in the United States and has been banned from cooperating with telecom operators." New Wolf News: Red Letter's US market plan is frustrated after Huawei. It became the second brand to be banned by the United States. Tencent News: the US department announced that it will ban Red Letter smart products from working with US carriers. UC News: Red Letter is banned, what is going on? Many media have reported that when they saw the news content, netizens also felt that they were filled with indignation and they were in a hurry. It's too shameless. They actually forbid Red Letter and telecom operators to cooperate so Red Letter mobile phones can't be sold in the US. Why can't American mobile phones be sold in our country? What is this spam committee? Do you suspect that the Red Letter has information security vulnerability? Do you have to come up with evidence? Just doubt if you decide, hee. Oh, I have already expected it. Red Letter's products are too powerful, stronger than Apple, and Americans simply don't dare to let it enter the market. What do you guys say here, people? Americans don't even bird you. I am an American student studying in China. The Red Letter mobile phone is so easy to use. Why are they not allowed to sell? Do they have water in their minds? The news media also made a specific analysis of this matter. It is no accident that Red Letter is issued a ban in the United States. It is inevitable in this way. The Red Letter Group will enter the North American market in no way, and their global expansion plans will be frustrated. The North American market is the world's largest market for smart products. As long as Red Letter cannot enter the North American market to grab market share, it will be difficult to become a world-class science and technology company. This matter, Red Letter will respond to this. It is also necessary to look at the next move of Red Letter. Here, Xiaobian makes a bold prediction. In all likelihood, the Red Letter will temporarily abandon the US market and shift its development direction to the European market. The ban has had a great impact. Even Chinese diplomats pointed out in their speeches that they strongly condemn the unfair judgments made by the United States on some of our enterprises, which will affect the economic exchanges between the two countries. We must know that if Red Letter can succeed in the US market, it will attract a large amount of US funds to China to contribute to the Chinese economy. However, the relevant US departments have simply responded to this matter and will still not make any changes to the judgment. This matter is almost a nail. The Red Letter Group is talking about this matter. For the first time since the expansion of the market, Red Letter encountered such great resistance. The smart products of Red Letter can be said to be the backbone of the whole group. With smart products as the carrier, other games, software, batteries, and other products can also be sold to the US market. Now the US market has closed the door and all plans have become a bubble. End of this chapter.